You ready?
Hello!
Are we recording? Are we recording?
Hey, welcome to Do the Damn Show. This is Jason from Prime Time Lawn Care.
I bet he don't forget the damn number.
All right,
phone
here we
number.
go. So let's try this. Hey, y'all, this is Farron to Do the Damn Show. This episode is sponsored by Primetime Lawn Care. I know y'all have heard us throwing around the name Jason Such from time to time. We have a confession to make. That's not a real person. We just say that so that there is... Anyway, I'm kidding. This is Jason Such. And Primetime Lawn Care is his baby. And he is a best buddy of the show and a sponsor. And we love him to death. But more importantly... they're serious about the lawn care stuff. They will do a great job for you, no matter how big or small. Listen, somebody called and said, I hear, hey, I want to hire you to mow somebody's yard because I want to bless them. That was super cool.
That was it.
Right? So if you need your yard mowed or you just want to bless somebody, man, this is the guy right here, Jason Such, as long as it's Monday through Saturday because he's going to rest on the seventh day.
And you can reach Jason at
256-606-3064. Nailed it.
As I stand before you, my people, on this day of jubilant celebration, I say to you, will we find the devil in the bushes? No. He will be perched high on the peace tree, devouring the sucking of fruit as the poverty weeds lay wasted in the field. So revel not in the fascinations of man and realize the accountability of the just and unjust. For at that moment, may we all be caught up like a rushing wind to meet on that jumbo jet flight we call life.
Welcome to Do the Damn Show. I'm your host, the tatted, the fatted, the one and only Casey Hughes. And with me, as always, co-host and producer,
Farron.
Super Farron.
Super Farron.
Super Farron.
I was just discussing last week being the first new video in the prominence of my gut.
Oh, my God. And we have a very special guest, Mr. Jason Such.
Yes,
No
yes.
good.
Glad you're here, brother.
Thank you very much.
Jeremy Braswell and Bishop Black. Too soon again.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do when the spirit hits you? Hey, now what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do when the spirit hits you? Hey, now what you gonna do? Can I leave my family fortune and still take on no more care? Will the next bed that I take reveal it there? Could you lend your hand for me? Take all my wants and not my needs. I wanna lay my riches up on the other side. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do when the spirit hits you? Hey, now what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do when the spirit hits you? Hey, now what you gonna do?
And we're back. Back from Jacks.
Yes.
I've always wanted to say this. I was just saying in the break how Trumpy Jason's tan looks.
Hey, that's part of being prime time.
But I said, if you remember back, I don't want to, remember when I messed up and I dated it?
Oh, yeah,
before?
you're a
So I don't wanna do
time-stamping
that.
son of a bitch, let me tell you.
But I'm not going to do it this time. So watch this. You remember back weeks ago when we had Amy Garnett on the show, and we talked so much about Lee Greenwood, and those pictures we posted at the end of that episode. He was pretty dang tan
He's
too,
pretty
man.
tan.
Yeah.
For 80 years old, he's got it going on.
Man, I didn't know who he was.
Yeah,
I had no idea who
Love the
Lee
dude.
Green. I knew the song,
yeah.
but I had no idea who he was.
And that's the thing. The real fans of his, they hate it when you say, he had that one song because apparently, according to Amy,
You mean
he
he's
had
got-
like 16
You mean he's got a catalog?
top 10 hits or something. But I dare anybody to name another song other than "Proud to Be an American."
That's super fan
But
at
in case you're listening,
dothedamnshow.com.
and in case you're listening, Lee, because I did tag you in a couple of things on our page, I was kidding. We think you're awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Look, if Lee Greenwood hatred on his behalf against the show gets us publicity, so be it.
I know, but
Lee, I only knew the one song that you did, buddy. I'm sorry.
You haven't seen his fan base like I have, so we
Amy
might want
Grant
to
seen
tread
him
lightly.
29 times.
We might, yeah.
Not 30, but 29.
Well, listen, she messaged me today, or she
I think
messaged.
that was 30. I think that this time was 30.
Yeah, but what happened? She actually messaged today I think maybe on the page, she said, I made a mistake. I had only seen him 27 times. And I said, yeah, but you saw him last night, so that's 28, right? And she goes, yeah, and I have already bought tickets for 29 and 30. So there you go.
That's okay. My dad messaged me today, and all of my life, I remember the story I told about Willard doing a little light housekeeping on the whiskey bottle.
Uh-oh.
Turns out it was my grandmother's half-brother, and his name was
I thought
Big
you
Boy.
could say it was your grandmother.
Yeah, Big Boy. And I was
Your
like,
grandmother.
you know.
Yeah, that was my grandmother. My grandmother.
Turns out it was my
Willard.
grandmother laying there, not Willard. So how's your week been, man?
You know what? I'm not going to lie. I always talk about how my week's been great, but it hasn't been that great. I had some family stuff going on. You know, got little boys, and we had some issues and kind of stressful. Some of the stuff compounded on each other. You know,
Yeah.
so a few days that were rough. But I'm going to tell you something. Last night I was sitting at the kitchen table with my wife, and we were talking about all of it, and I realized that inside, I didn't mean to get serious this soon. I know we usually don't. Okay, but you asked, and I realized that inside, even though I was stressed out, I still knew everything was going to be okay because I just knew that God was going to take care of it, and this was just a rough patch and not anything to really be concerned about, like it was end of the world or something. And I told her, I said, we talk a lot on our show about joy, and this is one of those times because we're not happy right now.
Right.
And we're concerned that some things have happened, and we're a little hurt because of some negative blowback on our kids. But at the same time, I have assurance, and I honestly know that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, today then, because God's how he is, we had a couple of real positive things happen that kind of digs you out of the human emotion part of us as well.
Yeah.
gives us a little. So having said all that, rough week, but God is a good God, and I sure am glad I didn't have to go through it without him.
And that's because I've had a similar, you and I have talked about it over the last few weeks. It was, just things kind of piled up, and I don't think it's jumping in there too soon as far as seriousness, in the sense of that's part of life, dude. We're up into 30 something episodes of the show, and we've touched in on little things like that, through there, but I don't think we've ever started a show off to where it was like, man, it was a shitty week.
Well, here's the thing: you got three
So it
real
happens.
men that keep it real
Yeah,
Exactly.
in this
Exactly.
room. So, let's get it done. You know what I'm saying? And you guys were talking about joy. So, one thing that brought up when you guys were talking about joy when I was driving down the road was, how do you keep a spiritual high?
Oh, you can't.
Yeah.
You can.
Do tell.
Are you talking
Okay,
about with like
okay.
spiritual gummies or something?
No, no.
Sign me the fuck up right now.
Sorry.
It's a mind thing. Okay, so I try to teach people this, but they don't understand it. Okay, because if you don't have experience a spiritual high and know what it is, you're not going to be able to understand it. So, for instance, you're on a spiritual high, and you're like, just like drugs, you're blown out of your mind, maybe on gummies, cocaine, liquor, whatever.
That's a huge jump from gummies to coke.
Yeah,
man.
I mean,
I don't want to party with you.
it is what it is.
I don't want to party with Jason.
Bro. You're talking for somebody was on it, So, so you're on that spiritual high. Something great happens. God blesses you, and then the next day you come down,
Yeah.
and you're like, man, and you're like, where you at, God? How come you're not showing up? Why did you preep me up? And now we're down here, and somebody cut me off on the road, or I lost my wallet, I can't pay my bills, or something like that. Well, here's the thing: you can get pissed off and let it ruin your day.
Yeah.
Or you can think about what God did for you the day before, in the moment, and keep that spiritual high in your head.
I get it.
And stay on that level.
Yeah.
And so that's where I try to go every time. Like I get a negative thought. Here's the thing: we're all human,
Right.
and we're going to be messed up.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get pissed off. I might cuss you. I might tell you sorry afterwards. And I might have a bad day, and I'll be like, I don't want to be messed with today. Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
But then I got to go back and think, okay, was that my spiritual high?
Right.
So you got to keep. It's one of those things that just got to keep on clicking in your head.
I guess kind of to put it in those kinds of terms then, because that makes sense. So I guess kind of maybe that's what was going on, what I was talking about last night. Even though there was, a lot of bummer stuff going on, I still knew inside it was going to be okay because I knew God is God and what he did. And I said that to my wife. So I guess maybe
Yeah.
the way you're defining that, still spiritual
And I
high.
think,
suppose,
that's a cool point to hone in on real quick, because it's so easy for people to go, well, I can't be on a spiritual high all the time, you know? And I'll tell you, like, there's three people here that are in three different stages. You know what I mean? Nobody's better than anybody in here, but people are at three different stages. And I have to work on myself in the sense, because I still have depressive states. You know, I'm working through that. I'm not near as bad as what I used to be. You know, I take some meds to help me level out, and then I lean on God a lot harder now through those things. But I'm not at a place currently to where I'm doing that.
Right.
Does that make sense? But there was also a time in your life where you weren't doing that.
Right.
But you've made an effort and made a growth to get to that point. And so I think where I'm going with that is I think it's super cool to have three guys that are in three different completely stages and still have the same foundation and the same root of this is how I get through it. Like you were talking about through your week, you know, you got the confirmation from God today. Or was it yesterday? One of the two. I was listening, I promise, but it was one of the two. And the other day when I got up, let's see, today's Thursday, so Tuesday, when I got up, God told me I was in a hotel and I just had a terrible Monday. And when I got up that morning, it was like 5:30. He goes like, all me, all day. And that's all I had to hear. It was all me, all day. So all day long, I listened to things that were faith-based for me. Not because somebody told me to, not because I felt, you know, Jason was like, you need to go do this. Or Farron was like, you need to go do this. Or you have to go find that spiritual high.
Right.
You know,
or stay away from the secular stuff.
Right. It was, and what was so cool, dude, is I did that all day. I did it all day. And whether it was a podcast or if it was music, because I was on the road a lot that day, at the end of my day, that's when I designed a sticker and I sent it to both of you guys.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I was listening to music all day now, okay? It's been praise and worship stuff all day. All day, it's all it's played. When I finally sit down in the hotel lobby to start working on my iPad, I shit you not, a worship song played, Dave Matthews. A worship song played, Avett Brothers. A worship song played, something else played. And it began, the algorithm on my phone began to weave itself in and out of secular music, worship music, but all day, that's all it had played. All day it had just shuffled praise and worship music. That was it. But at the end of my day, when I felt better and I was getting my creativity out, I started getting some of those things that I listened to anyway. And I sat there in that lobby and I was like, okay, God, I hear you.
Well, see,
You know, I hear you.
That's super cool.
Well, God knew what you needed.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
he put some spiritual music in there, some music that you loved,
Yep.
because he's going to bless those people too. And then back to spiritual. So it was a balance for you not to be flowed with religion music.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
because here's the thing, you can get too much. Yeah. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah.
But and when I say that, you get numb to it.
Well, you know, God created a lot of stuff for us to enjoy. You know, not all art is based. Not every piece of art is a portrait of Jesus.
Right.
There's a lot of art that's really moving and
Yeah.
means a lot to us.
Right.
And you know, now I'm already getting into my broken record phase. But you know, when my wife was on here, she made this statement that reminded me, you know, that all good things come from God.
Yeah, all the good things.
So, also, a little side note here. I don't mean to get us off subject, but I didn't know you were an Avett Brothers fan.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Dude, I absolutely love the Avett Brothers.
Smithsonian's my favorite song.
I'm going to see, that's a great one. I'm going to see them in October because it's like a dream come true for me. My all-time favorite of any genre and anything is Willie Nelson, and I'm talking about deep cuts of Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's 90 now, right? Still touring. And he's got this outlaw tour that he does and different people come and open for him. For my birthday, which is in October, Angela bought us tickets to go to the Orion. And it's Willie Nelson, and the opening on that leg of the tour is Avett Brothers.
Oh, hell
I get
yeah.
to see
There
them
you
both
go,
at the
there you go.
same time.
So there's on the music thing, Need to Breathe. I'm a big Need to Breathe fan, have been for a long time.
They're
They have a
awesome.
song called Difference Maker, and there's a lyric in that song that says, I have felt the fire be put out by too much gasoline. So to your point, speaking to your point, you can have too much. You can have too much. And if you don't like that, you can email me at casey@dothedamnshow.com, and then I will gather Jason and I will gather Superfan, and we can sit down and talk about it. But you can have too much.
And I have.
Yeah,
You know,
me too.
And that's
Me too.
where, and then going on another subject, that's where you get into listening to humans.
Yeah.
And, you know, that'll drive you down.
So it's a hard thing to, and again, I don't care if people like this or not. It's hard to tell people you need to live, eat, and breathe God, but at the same time, go, you don't have to live, eat, and breathe God.
Right.
You know, and I don't know that because there is a balance there. You know, you're allowed to be human. Now, if I listen to Eminem all day or Rob Zombie all day, my mind goes to a place.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, one week, and I just listened to podcasts, Joe Rogan, just some other people and stuff like that.
Fantastic podcast, by the way.
Yeah, and I got overloaded with Scientology, all kinds of crazy stuff up there, listening to SEAL team stuff and everything. And I got home that weekend, and I was like, man, my wife said, you're not the same person that you were Monday. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh, crap. My attitude changed.
Yeah.
I was listening to too much of something,
Yep.
and it changed my mind process. And I started talking about different things, and what about this? And my wife's like, I don't like you like
Yeah, it's not that listening to that stuff was wrong. You just didn't have the right balance.
that. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't realize. I mean, like, they look at it and they go, well, you're supposed to love God all the time. Well, yes. Okay, I get, yes, that is true. But it's like drinking Cokes, man. If your body doesn't know what to do with that sugar.
Right.
It has no idea what to do with all that sugar. You weren't meant to process all that all the time. So in the sense of God and a Coke, if you do find yourself indulging or intaking too much, it will mess with you mentally. Mm-hmm. You know, it will mess you up mentally because we weren't meant, I think Paul said it the best, when I was a child, I ate like a child. Right?
Right.
I ate baby food when I was a kid. It's a process to getting to that. You don't just take a steak. By the way, Jason brought in some steak on the way in here.
Holy
that was freaking
moly.
delicious.
Yeah.
And we
Holy
have drinks
moly.
from him as well.
Yep.
My unrefined self had never had.
So we brought in some Australian Wagyu
Yes,
from
sir.
the butcher shop down in Lakon. And then we brought in some 7 Brew.
You didn't tell me that part up front, man. Come on. What was the rating? What was the rating on the they passed. The D's passing,
Hey,
right?
that
Their
place is
health rating was-
legit. Like,
I know, it's just a fact,
legit.
like-
Well, I don't. It's just funny you said Lakon. I do know that was delicious.
That place is legit.
I need some Wagyu steaks and a 5-gallon bucket of bent rusty nails
And
for a quarter.
hey, my dad once went to Lakon and then came out and his spare tire that he had in the back of his truck was gone. So he went back in and found it and bought it back from the guy.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
I knew
I was like,
you.
I was a kid, but I was
knew
like,
it.
Dad, you knew that was yours. You didn't even say that to him. He said, it's just $5. He must have needed it pretty bad.
So going off of the steak, like if you just eat steak all the time, and that is it, just meat, raw meat all the time, it will mess up your body.
It will. It poison you.
You can't process. We're not meant to process those things.
Yep.
So for people to think, in my opinion, Casey@dothedamnshow.com, in my opinion, that if you're intaking that much God all the time, you are trying to take a test that you're not ready to pass. Mm-hmm. Not that it's a test, but you have not prepared. You have to take things in doses.
Right.
You know, you don't go to the gym and come out looking like Superman. You don't. It's a process.
Yeah.
So to think that God's process is any different than any other flipping process we have in life is just erroneous.
Yeah.
today.
It's just like listening to so much, but you're not allowing God to interrupt in between of listening to all that.
Yeah.
So there's a balance of everything in this world.
Well, I got a question for you guys then, because we're talking, like you stress your opinion. We're talking our opinions. So I want to get y'all's feedback on this. We've talked before about Scripture, particular verses being taken out of context and stuff. Mm-hmm. And there's one that I don't know that it's taken out of context all the time, but there's a lot of different ways, a lot of different interpretations of exactly what it means. So what's you guys take on when you pull that from the Bible out where it says to be in the world but not of the world?
You know, I'll let you answer that first because I'm going to look up something real quick.
Okay.
Ain't that cheating?
Well, okay, fair. And why don't you lead it off then?
Oh, I was genuinely asking. I mean,
Okay.
I kind of know what I think, but my opinion and my take on that has evolved.
Okay.
Because as I've come out of religion and legalism and into an understanding and an embracing of the true nature of Christ and the grace, then that's evolved.
Yeah.
Once upon a time in my 22-year-old Farron Bible College, very dogmatic, legalistic days, I would have told you that meant that we live here, but we're not supposed to partake of any of this secular stuff. And I know that's not what it means.
Well, I mean, God put us here for a reason,
Yeah.
okay? To give us life, to
Right.
give us the freedom to walk around and do what we want to do. Mm-hmm. So he created the earth for us. I think walking around, it's hard.
I think now that it can also have something to do. And again, I don't want to be the person taking it out of context now, and I don't want to overanalyze this. I just threw it out there because of what we were talking about. But in the world, not of the world, right? Well, we're not of the world. Once we believe in Christ, then we're a child of God,
Right.
right? But we are still in this world. We talked a whole lot about Jesus and the way Jesus operated. He went out into the world and sought people out. Casey talked about this a lot a few episodes ago. He didn't create a big synagogue meeting place and tell everybody, okay, I'm here, come to me. He went to them.
I wish he would have.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But he went to the people, and he, ate meals with the sinners when that was frowned upon. And he talked to the woman at the well when that wasn't what you're supposed to do. And he addressed and touched and showed kindness and love to the lepers when you weren't supposed to do that. So that's what I think, is he wasn't of this world, but he wasn't afraid to be in it either.
Well, because this world is sin.
Yeah?
This is all earth is sin. Okay? So when Adam and Eve, bit into the apple, it was done. I mean, that was sin. So that's what become of the world.
Yeah.
Okay? So to get your heart set on, okay, like when I was driving over here, I was like, man, my life is so great right now. I want to live forever. And I really do. I want to be like Benjamin Button and just live forever. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to say that because I wasted a lot of time, a lot of my years being stupid and being sinful. And the joy I have now in God and in this earth, I'm just in a happy place. But with you saying that, I mean, you can be of this world, but I mean, being in it.
But if we agree that once you're a believer in Christ and you accept what he's done for you, what he's freely given for you, then you're no longer quote unquote of this world, because now you have eternal life, right? So in the world, but not of the world. Okay. So we agree not of the world, but I feel like this is also pointing us towards, but don't forget about the other people that are in the world. So go to them, be
That's
in
a
it.
good point.
Don't set yourself aside and make your own community to quote unquote protect yourselves from the evils of the world. Don't separate yourselves and shun and scorn the lepers and the prostitutes and the people that are cast out. Don't separate yourselves from them. Be in the world with them.
So let me
Just not
ask
of
you
the
this, because I had a hunch, and that's why I muted out for a minute.
Were you just looking at a Bible?
Yeah.
But what about the people that have listened to 5 minutes of our show and say that we don't do that? We don't teach the Bible. What about that?
So this is hold that
So
thought.
you
hold
can
that
email me
thought.
at jasonsuch@yahoo.com. We can talk about that all day long.
Hold that thought.
Because I promise you, I would not sponsor this show.
I wouldn't sponsor that shit. I'll say it for you. So check it out. You got your phone on you?
I do.
So
I got a phone and an iPad.
All right.
Phew.
Either one, find that verse.
Okay.
Find that verse.
I hope you're not going to tell me it ain't really in there.
Find it.
Uh-oh.
So
I set myself up.
It's because I want to make a point with this. That's why I muted out for a minute to find it. Because not of this world, in the world, not of the world, right? That's what we're at. Let me know what you find on there. Just do like a quick Google search or something. Jason, you doing it too?
Yes, sir.
And if you find it conclusive, so I think this is really cool because, to your point, there are people that say that it's not scripturally sound, it's not doctrinally sound what we do on this show, because we don't have a lot of Bible verse quotes and things like that. But to my knowledge, the closest that you're going to find for that.
So John 17:16, right?
John 17:16. That's what I got pulled up over here. Do me a favor, read John 17:16.
Okay.
What translation are you using?
This
NIV?
translation is...
You got NIV?
Oh, no.
I don't
know. Let me tell
but
you.
that's what I go for.
Let me tell you what it is, and then I'll figure out translation. My prayer is not that you take them out of the world, but that you protect them from the evil one. They are not of the world, even as I am not of it.
So then you've got the New International Version, that says, I have given them your word. This is John 17:14-15. I have given them your word, and the world has hated them, for they are not of the world any more than I am of the world. My prayer is not that you take them out of the world, but that you protect them from the evil one. Mm-hmm. Now, I can't find anywhere where it's as cut and dry as
in the world, but not of the world.
Boom. Mm-hmm. Thank you. There's also, I know this one for a fact, this too shall pass. Not scripturally sound.
No.
It is not scripturally sound.
What about this one? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go.
Now, I was going to make a joke, and I realized I was derailing you. My apologies. Appropriate time for appropriate things, and I was about to derail. Probably God trying to tell us something, so forgive me. Sorry.
So real quick, I want to change this real fast. I want to go to...
But that's the good thing about reading the Bible. God's going to speak to you in everybody in a different way.
Yeah.
And open your mind to different things.
Well, and now that I'm thinking, because, that point being made that that's something that's been passed down and down and down in the world, but not of the world, but it's not really a specific scripture stated specifically that way. So I must have heard it in a sermon. I must have heard
You heard it as in an interpretation of what somebody how interpreted that. The problem
like
with
God
that,
helps those who help themselves.
Right? The problem with that is we end up
that's a bunch of crap.
Psychologically
Yes, it is.
founding our own doctrine on interpretations.
Yeah.
Which is why we're here in the first place, is where I'm going with that. It's not bad, but to sit somebody down and go, what is your take on the Bible's view of being in the world and not of the world? Well, if I don't take the opportunity to go find exactly what it says,
sure,
then I'm basing my entire life off of interpretation of somebody that heard it in a sermon somewhere.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I lived my life that way for so damn long,
I remember one of the things that was what's the word I'm looking for? When like a touchstone, like when you need something to keep you focused on what it is you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Was something that when I was a kid.
The easy button. Yeah, I got one of them out there.
Something when I was a kid that a pastor said, and I carried this around with me like it was scripture. And it wasn't, okay? And you know what it was?
What?
It was talking about when you're trying to make sure that you're not sinning and you're trying to do the best you can to live a holy life, then always remember this. If in doubt, don't. And I carried that around, y'all.
You'd be stuck in a road for a long time.
As if that was scripture like I thought it was. If in doubt, don't. And so I would think,
would be stuck.
I want to do this. Well, I don't know if I should or not. Oh, if in doubt, don't. So
that's some
better not.
That's some Dwight Schrute logic right there. When I think to do something, I think if an idiot would do that, I do not do those things.
Okay, you made it light enough for me to say what I was going to say a while ago. I said, like where in the Bible does it say, don't dance in the sun with butter on your head?
But it looks like you did
say
today.
that when I was a kid, Somebody used to say that, don't dance in the sun with butter on your head.
But I think it's important to understand that, the premise of this show is because we've all three of us in here have been through a position to where something like that was interjected into our lives. And then we've tried to perform to that model. And then, we have to sit and have those mental debates with ourselves. Well, if I really loved God, would I be of the world or in the world? What does it mean to be of the world, in the world? And it's not what he said anyway.
Yeah.
And those are red letters. Just FYI, that's John. Those are red letters.
Yeah.
That's not an interpretation of Paul.
Well, I heard a pastor who I do have a lot of respect. Well, it was Barry. We had him on the show. I can say Barry. I heard Barry say one time from the pulpit, I remember when the big thing was those WWJD bracelets. What would Jesus do?
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with those bracelets. I thought that was pretty cool because I still think we ought to think. You see somebody in need, hey, what would Jesus do?
Yeah.
But not in a condemning way.
Yeah.
Like oh no, what would Jesus do?
You're drinking that beer. Would Jesus be drinking it?
Yeah. Well, I remember Barry was talking about.
I don't know if he would or not.
Yeah, Barry was talking about those bracelets, and he was saying, we don't need to have all the time have this burden on. Did I do that like Jesus would do it?
Right.
Because we're supposed to be free. He said, why don't we get bracelets that say, how did he put it? WDJD. What did Jesus do? And then remember that everything's all good because of what Jesus did.
So this is what I want to do. I want to get us a Do the Damn Show shirt that looks like the old Lord's Gym shirts.
Yeah.
What did Jesus do?
What did Jesus
at
do?
the top? I think it would be fantastic.
And let him bench press a giant cross.
Dude, do you remember?
That's funny.
Think about how ridiculous that is.
I saw a building today in Trinity, and it had a cross with dumbbells on it. And I was like,
That's
and
cross.
Yeah,
That's Christ fit. Get it right.
I was like, my first thing was, is Keeney in there?
They're Christ fitting, dude. Just real quick, think about how ridiculous those Lord's Gym shirts are. I hadn't thought about those.
That's
in years.
crazy.
But it's this huge, like muscle
shoestring.
Yeah, like
With the tank
like
top.
a shoestring
Yeah.
thing, but it's this huge muscled up Jesus with like
Let me,
it's not
now,
it,
now
man.
having said that, let me tell you something cool. This is not a negative thing, but this made me. So, a guy who hopefully is going to be on our show sometime soon, Charlie Kane.
Yep.
We've talked about Charlie Kane a lot. I remember when Alan was here, all those weeks ago, when Alan was here.
Did you change your shirt today?
Yeah.
When Alan was here and we were talking about Charlie, and this was something really cool about Charlie because Charlie was really fit and he was he's a stocky guy. So when he was jacked up, he was. And so anyway, one year at the Cross the Hammer and Switch. No, what's it? Anyway, what it's called? Cross the Hammer and the Switchblade. That's what I was going to say. You know what I'm talking about? The big thing that happens
The
in
God,
the
the
church
Lion,
here in
and the
town.
And I was
Wardrobe.
just thinking, like, there's 3 different guys here. Like, when I get hard questions on the social media, I'm like, Farron, answer this for me. Okay. And then, I'll call Casey, but like, Casey, man, this dude is, I
That's
don't
different.
understand it.
It's a different setting.
Because I got a childlike faith.
It's a different setting. Anyway, there's a church here. See, we're recording, but my 7-year-old's trying to FaceTime me, and it makes me want to answer, but we're recording. Sorry, buddy. Anyway, so
Shitty dad.
I know. Well, I mean, I would have done it if I thought it'd be okay, but anyway.
I mean, you're the boss, right?
Well, I mean, not really.
Well,
Yes. Oh, too late. Anyway.
there you
I
go.
see he's
He
gonna keep
called
on.
back.
See,
Let me
that's
just answer
Scott's
it.
it
But
right
I got
there.
to tell that story, though, whether we edit this
maybe
part out
not.
or not. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, let me answer. We probably won't edit this. We probably won't edit this out.
As long as you make
Join
it fast.
Camera.
Are you going to answer it, old man? Or are you
did,
just going
man,
to
I
keep...
did. Hey, son, I love you very much.
My son's
And
calling.
I'm glad. I love you very much, and I'm glad that you FaceTimed Daddy. But I'm in the middle of recording a podcast right now.
After the podcast, call me back.
Okay, what's up? Is it something important?
No.
Oh, okay. You just wanted to talk to me about something fun?
Can you give me something that's $10?
I'll have to call you back on that one, buddy. I'll call you back on that one, okay?
Oh,
but
the
let me ask you this
importance
real
of
quick,
things
though.
for a child.
Since you're not here to sign any kind of a waiver, can I just get verbally from you? Is it okay if we air your voice on this podcast episode?
Yes.
Okay.
There
you guys
we
heard
go.
that.
There we go.
So if he comes at me later with his lawyers, you guys heard that. I love you, buddy.
Mama told me this power royalty.
Tell you what, I'll give you the same amount I give her. How's that? Love you. Bye.
So we end up...
So wait. My Charlie Kane story, man. Come on.
Well, I mean,
So Charlie,
Casey,
big,
we just walk out and let him have the show.
Yeah, hey,
I mean,
he does it
big
anyway.
Big Charlie, right? And there was a particular church in our area that always did this really big passion play every year and drew lots of
It's called
crowds.
Whip, Hammer, and Cross at Calvary
Yeah, that's
Assembly.
it. That's what I said, right? Whip the hammer and the switchblade, whatever. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about, right? Crossing the switchblade. Dadgum.
Now and then.
So hard to focus. I said all that to say this.
I was wondering where it was going.
Yeah. I said all that to say this in this imperfect analogy. Charlie was huge, and one year he played Jesus in that thing, and I was like 19, 20 years old. Dude, it was so cool to see a Jesus up there and then on the cross and everything, but he was just this swole, stacked Jesus.
You know, fun story about Charlie Kane. He bet a guy. The guy bet it. He said if he could bench press 500 pounds, he would come to church, and Charlie did it.
I believe it.
Bench press 500 pounds in his prime.
I believe it.
And we'll get into that when he's on here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was super cool.
Let's get Charlie, Kenny, and Pastor Emilio and do a bench contest on the show.
A bench contest?
I don't know if Charlie could hang with him now. He might could.
Put
He's
up or
not-
shut up.
He's not that old.
Put up or shut
No,
up. you
but
know what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
think he does. I don't think he goes as
probably as
hardcore.
active,
Yeah, I don't think he
not
goes
as
as
active.
hardcore in the gym as he used to. No, he
Yeah.
might. He might, but
He probably doesn't. I don't think so either. he's got a lot, he's a busy dude. I know
Oh
that.
yeah, he's very insanely busy.
Yeah, but that would be cool though. And I'm glad you said bench press because at first, in my mind, I was seeing him in here in speedos all oiled up, and I was like, this is a small room. I
Where
don't know.
did you go?
Like
I thought that's where he was going.
Where the hell?
No, I thought
Why
that's
would
where he
I
was
go
going.
there?
'Cause
Don't put that blame
'cause
on
we're
me,
talking about
bro.
muscles.
Look, don't
Let's
put
talk
that.
That's what Mr.
Do
Olympians
not put
do,
that
right?
evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Oh, y'all made that in such a way that I will edit this out.
That's okay. I can come back and put it back in.
That came out. That is not what I meant by that.
I mean,
I thought we were gonna
didn't-
laugh.
My
Now
mind.
y'all made me feel like the weird one.
That's Casey right there, buddy.
Made me feel
mean,
like the weird one.
I tell it out of here. I never went through my mind.
Hey, where's that Wagyu? Is there any more of that Wagyu? That Lakon Wagyu? That's like saying gas station sushi. Lakon Wagyu.
So I want to point real quick. You are I don't ever put anybody on a pedestal, but I want people to understand of the full value of the transitions that I've had in life. And I'm still a man. I'll always be a man. Not that kind of transition.
Right.
But I would not be sitting here if it. I would not be sitting here if it weren't for you. In the sense of you took the opportunity to invest in me in a time that I didn't even know that I could. He really did. He put I've always been artistic, but I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do now had it not been for him and his ridiculous ass request that he always has. Like a doctor eating a hamburger.
There was some cool
Or
stuff.
a road
was.
runner
It
eating a
was.
taco. Or, hey, I've got this great idea. I'm going to serve the biggest damn biscuits in the South, and I need a 9-foot-tall hippie Sasquatch to be the mascot.
Loved it.
That
Can
was
you
so
create
cool.
that?
Yeah.
But he always, not only did he invest in it monetarily, to, hey, I see you have a value and a worth that even you don't understand. But he also, it was always a gentle push for bigger and better. Anything that he's ever come to me with was bigger than the last.
Yeah.
To the point of what, a 30-foot food
It
trailer?
was a 36-foot food truck.
Yeah, I want this.
I remember that, man. It being all over social media and
Yeah.
you painting that. That was the coolest
I
thing.
think
So we have a way to push people. Where I'm going with that is, we have a way to push people in a godly manner that has nothing to do with God.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Not one time did you go, God, 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 God. You just did the work. You did the Christ-like work of investment into a person.
Well, see, there was a balance in that too. I like to try to balance things out in life. So not only was Casey coming to me for spiritual advice, human advice, what to do advice, I was always pouring back into him because the more he did, the more I gave back.
Right.
And I don't
Yeah.
do that often, but sometimes. Here's the thing: if I go out there and tell you to do something, listen to me, and you don't do it, I ain't got time for you.
Right.
I do have time for you, but I'm not going to go down that road again with you.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know,
'Cause
and it's the
it's a
same
waste of
thing.
time. Yeah.
Same thing with Casey. I was just told him one day, it's like, look, you got to get this in order, and then blah 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 blah. And next thing I know, he calls me a year and a half, 2 years. He goes, dude, I've done it.
Yeah. And it takes time.
I
Yeah.
wondered, and I wondered how you guys came together. I did. I wondered that because I knew both of you
Well-
from different places and different
Yeah,
times.
we were affiliated by a particular organization in town. Didn't really know each other then. I was doing the wing off stuff, and I needed a good restaurant for the base.
Right,
That's really where we kind of
and all the art
started.
stuff you were talking about too. Just in case there might be somebody listening or watching that didn't know, it's when you had the restaurant, such and such.
It was.
Yeah,
It was.
that's when he had the restaurant.
Yeah.
So we started getting closer at the wing off stuff, because he was going to be a part of it, and he was the second year that we did it. That stopped, and then we kind of, I don't want to say drifted, but we didn't really have a whole lot to talk about. And then he started the restaurant when he moved to Decatur. He wanted the art and stuff. Then that's when it started, and that's been
See,
what,
you know,
6-7 years ago.
Like, yeah, the wing off was booming, man. That was so much fun, and generated money for a great cause, and I'd love to do it again one year, but that's down the road. But we kind of separated. We didn't have too much in common, and I don't think it was such and such that got us back in it. I can't pinpoint what exactly what it was. But I really don't think it was the restaurant. I
No,
think
it was
something.
it was the restaurant.
Was it?
Because it's I had done some stuff. Brought you when you were in Priceville, I brought you some stuff there, and then when you moved to Decatur, you had some things, you had some ideas of the way you were decorating. the
Right, that's
restaurant.
right. Okay,
And then it
yeah.
just went from
Man,
there.
that was a busy part of my life right there.
Yes.
So opening a restaurant, and then like we went and cleaned the restaurant out, filthy restaurant, and then cleaned it out in 2 days, and then built a restaurant, and then took that equipment back out and transferred it to another restaurant. And man, like word of wisdom, just buy.
Just buy it.
Do not take something from another restaurant and
Yeah.
go to another restaurant. I mean,
Just buy new and sit on.
no, don't buy new. Never buy new restaurant equipment.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's a dime a dozen. You're going to lose your money right off the bat.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. But I was blessed for many years running a restaurant, and I mean, I miss the place. But God's got a new chapter in my life, and I am so much. Hear me on this. I'm so much happier.
I believe you.
That's good. That's
And-
wonderful.
I believe you.
and because I don't have the stress of who's coming in work, who's not, blah blah blah. It got to a point to where I couldn't trust anybody. I was having to run stuff myself. It just become a nightmare.
Well, I'll say this: it's really glad to hear. I'm really glad to hear that you're happier now. But I have a grown stepdaughter who misses the food from such and such so bad.
Look, I've got this amazing place that we're going to have people at,
Yeah.
and you'll have such and such. You had it tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Terrible.
here's the thing: with closing the restaurant, I've been offered multiple jobs. People want to come and work for them, and I turned down a job, $120,000 a year. And I was like, man, that's a lot of money. That'd be great money. But then I got thinking about it: am I going to be happy?
No,
And I wasn't.
you wouldn't be.
I wouldn't.
I can answer that for you.
I wasn't going to be happy, and I wasn't doing it again. Here's the thing: you got to be, if you want to perform at your job at the top of your ability, you have to be happy within inside yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't. Okay, if you're going to take a job because it's going to make your wife happy,
Right.
you're doing it for the wrong
Wrong reason.
reason.
Sure.
Yep. And that's because we're so close and we know each other. And I talk a lot about you over the years. You know, people, when you close the restaurant, there were a lot of people that reached out to me directly and go, man, what's going on with Jason? He's losing everything? Is he doing? And I would answer those people, I'm like, no, dude, this dude's moving to a new phase of life.
Dude,
And then you started the lawn care business, and some of those same people go, are you sure he's okay? Because that seems like a step back. And I'm like,
that's
dude,
what's so funny. I heard another podcast. It was Unashamed, the Robertsons.
yeah.
Okay, from Duck Dynasty. I've been listening to them a lot. They're just chilled, laid back. But I was listening to them, and he says, okay, if you're flipping burgers and cutting yards, you got a problem. You're not a man. I was like, bro.
I'm a man.
I need to, hey, I'm calling you out right now, the Robertsons, to be on your show. I'm going to show you what a man is. You know what I'm saying? Because
Wow.
That's Jason Such 7
at
at yahoo.com.
I'm telling you. But here's the thing. He said it, and I was like, I checked myself, and I was like, bro, I'm happy. I'm making great money.
Yeah.
And then he made a comment saying, hey, my wife cuts my yard. Well, bro, I was like, that's low. But if that's your prerogative, that's your prerogative.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
But
Well, my
here's the-
15-year-old daughter cuts our yard. So
Here's the thing:
I'm
everybody
kinda-
has their thing, and man, I love what I do. And
Yeah.
you guys, Jason Such and his crew at prime time,
It's Jason.
it's just Jason.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. By the
My
way,
bad.
yeah.
No.
it's just Jason.
Because here's the thing: I worked around a lot of people, and I love being by myself.
Okay.
I love being by myself. Now I love being around people. I love being with my
Now-
dudes, my wife. I love her to death. She is my best friend, and be honest with you, she can come work with me.
I know Jason. I know him. It won't be too terribly long, and it will be Jason and his crew at some point.
Man, you are the
But-
third person.
Because it'll be too big.
Well, it's
Yeah, but I know Jason. I know. I
well,
know.
here's the thing you don't know that God has spoken to me is you don't have to be rich to be happy.
Right.
And I was taught, okay, you got to make all this money for the kingdom. Yeah, okay, you got to make money for the kingdom. I get it. Okay, you got to do your tithe. You got to go over your tithing, all this stuff. I get it. But it's you and God's timing and tithing.
Yep.
You know, some of the happiest people I know are people that have learned to live with less.
Yep.
And we were talking about, again, coming up again in my head, scripture out of context. one of the biggest out of context scriptures of all time is, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength, Philippians 4:13. But if you read Philippians 4, 10, 11, 12.
I was going to say, nobody
That
reads
was-
12.
Yeah.
That was
Nobody
Paul.
reads 12.
That was Paul talking about being content.
I know
I
how
can
to-
be rich. I can be poor.
I've been brought low. I've been know what it's to be on high. I know what it's to go without. I know what it's like to have
I can do all
abundance.
things through Christ.
But I can do all things.
That's what he was talking about. And
Yeah. But so the restaurant, we were open a long time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I went back and did some study, and in the time that I worked there, I think it was 7 years. Okay. Story, I might exaggerate, sometimes 10, but in 7 years time, okay, I put in 28 years in working a 45-hour week at a restaurant in 7 years.
Yeah.
So now I'm able to adjust my schedule, do what I want, when I want to do it. So here's the thing. I cut grass. I do a great job, but I take my time off. So like this week, I busted my butt Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, half a day Wednesday. I'm off today and Friday. But here's the thing. You got to go get it.
You got to go get it.
You got to go, and you do that, you do that. And
yeah, me not so much.
well, I mean, you're up here recording, you're
True,
doing stuff.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I'm not
don't-
lazy, but I don't do as much as you guys
Don't
do.
sell
But that's a
yourself
choice.
short. Don't sell yourself short,
Well,
though, man.
and that is a choice for me because, and maybe because I am, I'm not sure how old you are, but I'm pretty sure I'm older than you.
You are.
and I've learned,
well, you're both older than I am.
I've learned lots of lessons. In an
here's
apartment.
the thing.
Speaking, if you like it, if you like hot dogs,
No,
Are we going down that road?
I still don't understand the connection between hot dogs.
I don't
and-
either. But guess what?
it makes a badass T-shirt, though. I'm gonna tell you.
It was a cool graphic. So we get to ask you, Jason, the
Yeah,
questions.
we get to
then.
ask Jason the 3 questions.
And we're
down to
close
the end.
enough, and I'm looking at the counter. We're close enough in time that I'm not going to have to do a whole lot of editing
There you
either.
go.
Win-win.
So you're on a road trip.
Yeah.
You go into a truck stop. What are you coming out with?
Okay, here it is.
Bang!
Cherry Pepsi.
Cherry Pepsi. Solid.
Man, you can't even find that in
Solid.
your can.
Oh, yeah, this dude can.
Solid.
Cherry Pepsi.
That
Cherry
is solid.
Pepsi. Red Vines.
Red vine.
Red Vines.
Uh-oh.
Red Vines.
I'm
Is
a
that like
Twizzlers guy.
Is that like a?
I don't care what
Is that
you
like
are.
a
I'm a
Family
Twizzlers
Dollar?
guy.
Is that
We're
like a
gonna
Family
have
Dollar Twizzler?
I'm not eating no strawberry Twizzler. I want cherry.
Is that
Did
a is that a Trailer Park Twizzler?
Did you
Is that
ever
what that
see the
is?
Big Bang Theory episode where they got into the debate over Twizzlers versus
yeah.
Red Vines? Yeah.
No. So that's what
So-
it is. Though? Like seriously, it's like a Twizzler.
Yes,
I
licorice.
didn't know what it was.
Yeah. So, Red Vines, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup,
Okay.
That's a given, dude.
sunflower seeds.
Hold on, wait. Cold out of the freezer door or off the shelf Reese's?
Reese's? Depends what kind of day it is, bro.
Yeah, they work
If it's
either way.
late,
You can't have
if it's late at night, I want a cold one.
Yeah.
Dude, solid, man.
Okay.
I got some in the
But
freezer now.
hear me on this, okay? If I get a Reese's that looks like powder, I'm going back in the store
Really?
and getting my money back.
You talking about like with the little
The dust, it
the
tastes like
on?
dust and breaks off in your mouth because it's been sitting on the shelf for so long.
Too old.
Did that with Kit Kats the other day,
Bro.
Should have known better to buy
Go back
king
in.
size from Bargain Hunt, but I did.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Dude, it literally. I'm not
You got what
exaggerating.
you
Yeah.
got what
I'm
you
not
got.
exaggerating.
You got what you
It
paid for.
tasted like a mid '90s movie rental store. That's what it. One that they smoked in, where Debbie was at the counter. No, we out of Terminator. We don't have that.
Be kind, rewind.
Yeah, that's
And
what it tasted
Gotta
like.
have my sunflower seeds.
That's solid. That's
Do
a
you
solid
do you
answer,
just
man.
do straight sunflower seeds,
Oh,
or
no.
do you like the flavors?
No, I like the flavors. There's a new
Do you
brand
know
out.
Jason Such?
I'm learning.
There's a new brand out. I can't remember the name of it, but I was like lemon pepper. I was like, holy crap.
I love me anything lemon pepper.
Okay, so Bucky's. I mean, we live
Hey,
by a
Bussey's,
Buc-ee's.
man.
I went in there and got me 6-pack of sunflower seeds. 6-pack of sunflower seeds, all different flavors. So when I'm mowing grass,
That's what I was going to say. Do you do them while you're mowing?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
cherry Pepsi, and a brisket sandwich.
Here you go. Best combo sunflower seeds, hands down. One of my favorite one is
Sizzling
pickle.
bacon.
My love pickle is just by itself. Cracked pepper,
Yeah,
sizzling bacon mixed together.
yeah. Oh yeah.
wow.
100%.
Combination, dude, will
100%.
blow your taste buds out of your face.
Okay.
And I can go through a bag of sunflower seeds in one day mowing grass.
Wow.
That's almost as much as cigarettes as I can
Yeah.
smoke in one day.
Yeah. So, but I cut back because of my Jesus moment of healing me. I think I might have got too many sunflower
Casey,
seeds.
Casey says best combo: sizzling bacon, sunflower seeds, Marlboro Reds.
Because Peggy said we're out of Terminator. All right, so go back to being a kid. Your favorite Christmas. You wake up, what's under the tree?
So,
And it can't be a King Kong bank.
okay.
Or Mrs.
Beasley.
Beasley.
My dad answered
Yeah.
me about that today, too. He
That's
goes,
hilarious.
that was from a TV
Yeah.
show called Family Affair and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, Dad.
She sent Amy Garnett sent me a clip, a screenshot today where she found one for $119 on eBay.
Don't surprise me.
Yeah, and Casey wants her
You're
to buy
fine.
it to put in the studio. I doubt she's going to do
no.
a
Buy it, put it in the studio.
$119
We don't
donation in the
might.
studio.
We don't need that up in here.
So what's yours?
We grew up poor, so I mean dirt poor. It don't look like it now, but we were poor.
Obviously, cherry Pepsi and red vine.
Yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
yeah.
Go, kid, go.
But my grandparents were amazing to me, and this short story, they used to buy crystals here, freeze them, and send it to us in California
Oh,
because
nice.
we're so poor. So by the time they got there, they were thawed out, and we were like, we thought we were high cotton
Eat them
eating
directly
crystals.
off the truck.
Like it's crazy, but that's how poor we were.
Mama said hot crystal again.
But one time we got these little Tonka trucks, and they run off the AA batteries, and they had the obstacle course and all this stuff. And man, our grandparents bought that for us one year. Man, it was amazing.
Sweet.
It was amazing.
And look how far you've come, man. You've come from UPS truck crystals to Lakon Wagyu.
Yeah, and you don't even have
at
to,
F350.
you don't even have to freeze your
I'm
crystal
just-
anymore.
Look, I'm balling, guys.
you
I'm
can eat them
balling.
thawed.
Whatever. God bless me. That's all.
So, what is your message to the masses? Your tombstone message? God forbid something happened to you on the way home today. This is the last thing they hear Jason Such say. What is it?
So there was numerous ones, but the one that makes me cry the most, I've been to hell and back twice. I'm taking heaven with me this time.
Nice.
Dude, love it. I love it.
Literally, I've been to hell back twice. One time I tasted it and smelt it, literally. Okay?
Oh, wow.
And the second time, I met Satan face to face.
So I'm excited. We have Micah
Face to
Trainum.
face.
We have Micah Trainum coming
Oh, wow.
in a couple of weeks.
That is
And
my that's my best friend. And I want to say this, okay? Him, Micah Trainum, and Scott Rutherford and Kenny Thomas pulled me out of the ditches.
yeah.
Okay. Those boys didn't turn their backs on me, and those are my heroes.
And that's, I told Hayden when we were coming to your house and I brought those hero paintings
Mm-hmm.
that you had me do. I was super into doing it, and you just asked me to do something around it, and I had to do something else because when I was painting it, this is what hit to me. If it had not been for Micah, I wouldn't be who I am today because I wouldn't have you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how God's network works.
Yeah.
That's how it works. It's a continuous thing. And so I'm excited to have Micah on here, but I want to shortly after that get you back so you can tell that story.
Yeah.
Because I want people to understand. I think this is a great episode. I really do. I think we've had a great time, but I want people to understand your story. How Jason, because you have a phenomenal story,
Yeah.
with California, with your dad, with your family, with Micah, with the substance abuse and the addictions that you had to get to the point. And it's so hard to wrap that up in an hour episode, but it is an opportunity to introduce people to Micah and go, this is Micah Trainum. This is his story. And then this is how Jason came to be, because I know he's a very big part in your
So
life.
that's my,
That'd be awesome.
that's my dude.
Yeah.
Him and Scott Rutherford and Kenny. Kenny came a little bit later on.
Right.
But Kenny helped me through the spiritual thing.
Yeah.
He helped me walk me through. And I want to say this, man, because Kenny means a lot to me. I had to make a choice one day. Organization, church, told me I couldn't be friends with him anymore.
Yeah.
They made me call him up and tell him,
Yeah.
hey, I can't be friends with you anymore. Me and my ex-wife. And we had to make a phone call and say, we can't be friends with you guys anymore. We can't hang out with you anymore. And to this day, it haunts me. But here's the thing: a good thing about it is, it haunts me. But I can never repair our friendship. He don't think twice about it. Okay, but I'm the one that holds it. But it's a reminder of, okay, I let a man tell me
Yep.
who I could be friends with.
Yep.
God didn't tell me not to be friends with him. I listened to man.
I'm really sorry that happened to you, man. I'm gonna tell you something why I said that. Without revealing anything, because I don't want to reveal something that involves someone else without knowing it's okay with him first. So I'm not gonna say any names. This might be the first time I start crying on this show. But what you just told me, a lifelong, extremely close friend of mine, the same thing happened to him. He wasn't told he couldn't be friends with me anymore, but he was told that he couldn't be a part of something that meant a lot to me and was very special to me. And it, whether he realizes it or not, but he's a smart guy, so I think he does, he drove a wedge between us.
Yep.
And I dare say it was the same organization that you're talking about that caused that to happen. And that just really moved me that you just shared that, because that just really, between you and between another guest that was on here a couple of weeks ago, actually talking about this particular person, has been God putting this on me, that I've got to reach back out to this lifelong
You got
person.
to, because here's the thing. Anytime an organization or something like that tells you you can't be friends with that person, you've got to pick and choose. You better run.
Yeah, you have
Yes,
to, man,
sir.
because we'll
You
call it
got
what it
to
is.
run.
It's brainwashing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I was actually trying to figure, we can keep going with this, but I was actually trying to figure this out because I want to get this into this episode, because you are such an influential part of my life, and I wouldn't have the ability to do the things that I do had it not been the talent from God, and then the other people in my life that have pushed me to get to the position that I am and have the opportunities that I do. And you play such a pivotal role in that. I want to make sure that this is here, because there are so many people, and I hear that when they reach out to us about the show, when we talk about it in here, and the emotions that drive with that, and it's people hurting people. That's what it is. And so I wasn't even going to do this today, but I think this is a great place to put it in here. And it's a shameless propaganda plug. It is what it is, but I want to explain that. We're going to have a new process, and it's called Tracks for Packs. And it's because condemnation is very much alive.
Oh, yeah.
Condemnation is so much alive that it takes precedent over conviction. And so I want people to understand that when Tracks for Packs is out there, and I'm going to tell you what that is. If you find a tract in the wild, and this is a hellfire and brimstone, leave your friends,
Like a chick track, one of those things,
adjust your life because God is not happy with you, you mail that to us at 1629 4th Avenue, Southeast Decatur, Alabama, Suite 108 at Fats on 4th.
35603.
35601.
35601. You passed the test. It was a test.
Fats on 4th, 1629 4th Avenue, Southeast, Suite 108, Decatur, Alabama, 35601. Every tract that you mail us, we're going to send you a grace pack. And the grace pack consists of 3 to 5 stickers that are designed towards grace. Because if people can flood it with hellfire and brimstone and condemnation and leave your brother and God hates you, then we have the ability to flood it with grace.
Yep.
And I'm not going to tell you to be Banksy. I'm not going to encourage you to deface property. I'm never going to do that. I'm just going to send you a pack of stickers.
Yeah. We'll throw a T-shirt in there, too.
Yeah. And we want people to understand that there is grace. And you do not have to sever relationships with your family, with your friends, or with your businesses. You don't have to do those things for God to love you and you be successful in life.
Yeah.
And so that's a little fun way, because I am an artist and a bit of an asshole and a rebel.
Yeah.
You collect those bullshit tracks, send them to me. I will replace it with you with something that you can be proud of and help promote grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it out there for more people to understand. Farron and I talk a lot about numbers on this show. We're not here to monetize. We're not here to grow. We are here to tell people about grace.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I just had a speech today where I was telling people we have created an unnecessary evil in the world as man, and that is society. And sometimes we have to combat society. Now, we don't have to go all Tyler Durden and build soap bombs and blow shit up and talk to our alternative self in the mirror and not talk about Fight Club. We don't have to do that.
Right.
But we do
Can
have
we if we want to, though.
we do have to get it out there. And so there is a certain level of marketing because the stickers do have Do the Damn Show on it, .com, but it's only because we want people to understand. I'm going to go back to it again. I know it's like beating a dead horse. You don't have to leave your best friend.
No, you don't.
You don't have
And I want
to.
to put this on the record. Kenny, I am sorry. I tell him every time
He knows.
I know, but I tell him every time I see him and that I love him. And I really do, because there's a part of it that you could never get back.
Yeah.
Like, that dude was my best friend, man.
Yeah.
And I abandoned him. And I'm sorry, dude. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But he loves you for it.
I know he does.
He does.
I know.
You just got to let it go.
Yeah.
Let yourself
No,
let
and
it go.
I have. But it's the thing about it is that's how good our friendship was.
But that's also how they warped you.
Yeah.
That's a great
so,
example of how
so
they
me
can.
crying and being down and about it, it's just a reminder of how God revealed it to me, and I was able to get out of that and understand it and go to him and say, most people ain't gonna go to their friend that they said, hey, I can't do anything with you anymore.
Yeah.
They don't have the guts because they can't get by and live that.
Yeah.
They can't walk with that. They'd rather be miserable and just push it away than go and look at you every day and deal with it.
Or God forbid somebody puts you in the position where you have to make that decision and that person ends up passing away and you have to live with that for the rest of your damn life.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you don't have the ability
you went
for
deep
closure.
There. That's the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah.
But just living with it every day. Okay, yeah, I see Kenny, and we don't have a good relationship, and I know what I did to him, and I've never rekindled that or said sorry. Then I'm living in condemnation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not being Christ-like. But with me going to him and saying, hey, I ask you forgiveness. Just like all the pastors and all the people that I've heard in the past, I went knocking on their doors and said, hey, forgive me as I forgive you.
Yeah.
And it's funny, and we'll get into that another day, but going down the road, I was like, that didn't turn out how I wanted it to be. And God's like, you're looking for man's gratification.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to let you see something, God's gratification.
Yep.
And it turned around. This is about you, not about them and what you want to hear from them. But this is me and your relationship. And I was like, whoa. I pulled over the truck. It was like,
So
mind-blowing.
I can honestly tell you that condemnation makes about as much sense as hot dogs and lawn care.
It
Hot dogs
does.
and lawn care.
Yeah.
But I'm going to teach you
So I'm
something.
going to take this out. Hey, this is Jason from Prime Time Lawn Care. You can call me all during the week, all the time at 256-606-3064. Don't call me on Saturday and Sunday.
And don't ask for hot dogs.
Don't ask.
And don't-
Bring me a sweet tea, though.
Bring him a sweet tea.
Please.
He
and
don't
a hot
hear
dog.
nothing else about hot dogs.
I hope that the next time you're cutting the yard, that this is a new customer, they just bring you this big ass platter of hot dogs. My life's mission will be it would be the greatest moment in my life.
Because
that somebody listened enough to go, Jason Such need some hot
I
dogs.
wanted him to answer the truck stop question with hot dogs, but it didn't happen. It would have been
whoa,
too
that's
good.
deep, bro. Like,
So
I'm locking the door. I'm locking the door.
thank you for joining in with us today, Jason. Thank you for being here
Yes.
again.
Yes, sir.
You're going to come back. I want to hear more about your story.
Yes.
So as you go out into the world, remember to always be real, be you, and be salt. Go out and love somebody today, but before you do that, make sure you love yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
Love you guys. We're out.
Yep.
And remember to spay and neuter.
Where did that come from, bro? Bro. Spade and
Yes, I lay here in my deathbed and my journey's to a close. I need the comfort of my kin to light my way. Don't fret for my soul, please, 'cause I found my inner peace. Won't you join me as I tarry